Hello my dear friends, good morning to all of you. In the last video lecture session we discussed about the unit number 4 part 3, right? And this is the last part regarding the unit number 4 part 4 regarding the OB subject. In this total part you learn about the power and politics and what are the power centers. Okay, so let's start it. First one, there are the power and center. So first topic regarding the power and center. So let's see. The power center is the point from where the power is generated or concentrated. From the power center, the power is released and sent to the point where the power is required to be used. Okay, so power and center means whenever in the organization, if any employees get the power and position at the time from which center they have to possess this, in this power and center point you learn about it. The concept of power and center in the management in the organization behavior is relevant in the scope of organizational behavior. So power center concepts, first one there are the mathematics, second one there are the electrical engineering, retail mall, then ownership, information technology, then management and the organizational behavior. First one, mathematics. In the mathematics, power center means the intersection of the point three radical axis and the other pairs of the circle. So it's called as the power center. Then in the electrical engineering, the power center is the point where the power center from the hydrochloric thermal power is generated. Then in the retail mall, power center is a shopping mall in improvement over the retail trade and is considered the power center of the we can say that shopping mall is referred to the shopping, right, to be a 2,50,000 to 7,50,000 square feet areas, and this concept is to be developed in USA in 1986. So there are the different types of power center concepts are considered. First one there are the mathematics, second one there are the electrical engineering, third one is a retail mall, then after fourth one is the ownership. The ownership is considered the authority to decides in any business to be raised with the ownership in the business. So there are the risky investors is invest their heart and earn money to the business is to be a there are the source of power, and thus there are the source of power in the business raised with the owner to the business who assume that the ultimate risk of the business. So in the business there are the various types of risk are considered, internal risk and external risks. According to this they have to be decide that the ownership and possess their investment and ownership right. Then after information technology. With the reference to the information technology, power center means the authority to exit to be a data in the source, transforming is to be a per business requirement and to be a target data in the warehouses. Then last one, there are the management in the organizational behavior. What is the meaning of power and center? The power in the management is to be ability to the superior to exit the obedience from the subordinate and getting things as per the expectation for the superior. The honors of the subordinates, the ownership tends to be a source of power and they have to be ultimate authority to decide over then any issues. For the facilitating the management and the organization, such centralized power is delegated to the lower level to the organization. Means there are the various type of delegation of authorities given to the in the organization. There is the top authority, then after middle level and the lower level management. So top level management is given the delegation and authority to the middle management, and middle management has to be given the order and command to the lower level management, and they have to be follow these rules and regulation whatever they have to be given from the middle level management. In the managerial leadership, the power center or the important source of power center there are given as under first one there are the wealth power. Wealth power is considering as the money power. Second one is a coercive power. Then third one is a reward power, power to give the benefits to other. Then legitimate power is the formality and the delegated authority. Then after fifth one is the expert power. There are the knowledge power. Then after reference power is one type of chemistry power. And seventh one, there are the physical power. So there are the various types of power and centers are considered in the organizational behavior. Then the second topic is the power and politics. Power and politics in the organization is to be intimately related to the organization can ignore it. So it is a fundamental attitude of human nature to get a desired things done through the various type of practicals and various types of personality. Thus the power and politics are to be old as the human nature but still exist in the modern management. In the model we can say hierarchy, there are the three types of we can say learn in the organizational management. So there are the hierarchical power given by the manager at the different level and get the formal power through the delegation of authority. While in the professional organization, like there are the doctor, then CA, chartered accountant, lawyer, etc., it's a get the knowledge power. Despite of this, there are the organizational characteristics. It's considered as the power and politics is remain in the tactful. Then after there are the historical. In the history, there are the we can say Kautilya's Arthashastra. In this Arthashastra, is a gave the beautiful explanation what are the power and politics and how it's to be described. So in this, they have to describe the four types of ways. In this, they have to describe the how the power and politics works. So first one, there are the explanation. There are the explain the person to follow the orders. Then if any person is doing the corruption in the business and it's doing the purchase of any, we can say that purchase by the giving a one type of corruption, it's follow the orders. Then after third one is a punishment. In this coercive power they have to order to be executed. Then fourth one, divide and rule policy, which we should know that about that divide and rule policy is to be applicable by the British rulers on the India. And we can say divided people to the two group and make them fight with each other and getting the things done. So there are the various types of power and politics are also done in the organizations. In this organization they have to divide the two group and try to doing this type of divide and rule policy so they can easily get their work done in the appropriate manner. Then power and politics are the two dynamics concept in the managing, we can say concept. It is the function of the interaction between the different elements in the organization. So there are the basic concept is used in the studying and the managing organization behavior. So first one, there are the introduction to power. The terms of power is refers to the capacity of a person in the expert to influence over the others. So it's a one type of power is a one type of characteristic that person have to one type such a type of quality that they have to be consider the power to dominate on other person's capability. So in the terms of this organizational behavior, the term of power is defined as first one, the power is the degree of influence that influence on the group and decision making is being authorized by the organization to do so. Then second definition of this, that power is the ability to get things done way one want to be done. Then there are the various we can say writer have to and given this type of power and politics definition. So first there are the definition and second there are the given by the Emerson. This power is the influence, we can say that one type of function to ties the mutual depends to the social relationships. Then what are the characteristics of power? So first one, there are the technical difference between the power and authority. Authority is the, we can say, formal ability, then exact, we can say, obedience of the other, while power is the one type of ability to expert influence on the other. So there are a minor difference between the authority and power. Second one, it is a two-way relationship. Power is to be extracted as one and one. Then third one, it's a specific manner is exercised by the person in a some situations. So in the some situation in the organization, top authorities have to use this type of powers like expertise power, skills and knowledge power. Okay. Then fourth one, they have to be presupposed to dependencies various type of dependence, and according to this they have to power to exercise on those who have to be a depend on it. Then what are the political behavior in the organization? So generally power and politics or political behavior are closely related in the organizational behavior, as politics is a common event in the any organization, and thus the organization politics is the universal and is found in the every level in the organization from top level to bottom level. If you find, you can search, there are the various types of, we can say, levels, right? So mainly three levels working in the organization: top, middle and bottom. In this, we can say, each level you have to find the political behavior. So there are the various authors have to doing the research and various type of, we can say, research papers done about this type of political behavior in the organization. So politics is the present to the organization regard to the size and characteristics and ownership. Then what are the reasons for the organizational political behavior? Why this type of political behavior done in the organization? So first one, there are the competition for the power among the peer groups and between the subordinates, right? Sometimes they have to get the higher power, so at that time they have to doing the competition between them, and they have to use this type of political behavior so they can get the higher benefit. Second one is the unequal delegation of authority. Sometimes they cannot given the equal authority to the equal level group. At that time, they have to face this type of political behavior. Third one, there are the frustrations in the promotions when they have to promotional authorities peoples to be a strike to get associate with the organization, and this type of, we can say, behavior for the getting the higher power and higher authority. At that time they have to doing this type of political behavior in the organization. Then after, discriminatory authority in the organization, this tends to be a certain position which have to be a discrimination power that are required for the using in the emergency. If we can say higher power get the top authority, and if they have to find that the emergency and contingency situation find in the organization, at that time they have to use this type of authority. Then support of the majority followers. The political leaders is to be a bargain for the benefit on the ground of the majority followers. You should know about that. In sometimes if there are the election comes, that then you have to know that various types of leaders doing this type of activity, they have to be doing the bargaining. We have to provide to you this type of facility, then you have to give a vote to us, right? So various type of, we can say, power and political behavior, there are the reason for that. Then after, the political behavior in the organization behavior is one type of reference that basically consider as the interaction and the interconnection with the relations. So thus is to be a, we can say that is the internal part of group dynamics, and political behavior is around to be a power center. So it's based the rationally and the thinking. So definition of this power and political behavior in the organization. First one, political behavior is refers to the structure that process the authority and the power to affect the definition of this goal, direction, and the similar parameters of this organization, and the decision making is not rational. So this formal, but we can say that one type of compromise, accommodation, and one type of bargaining activity is done in this political behavior. Then after, there are the Farrell, Tree, Peterson and DC have to given this type of political behaviors research, and in this research they have to establish and the new phenomena according to this, and they have to publish one book that political behavior in the organization. So according to them, the political behavior is the organization is refers to the activity that are not required as the part of one's formal role in the organization, but there are the influence on the attempt to influence the distributions of the advantage and disadvantage within the organization. So they have to refer that there are the activities done for achieving a particular goal, and sometimes it's to create the advantage and disadvantage for the organization. If it is considered in the good manner, it's create the advantage for the organization. If cannot, we can say consider at the good manner, and it we can say consider as the disadvantage for the organization. Then what are the dimension of the political behavior? So the political behavior is to be analyzed under the two dimension. First dimension is the individual dimension. In the individual dimension, there are the political behavior is a self-motivated. Means in this sector, in this dimension, there are the self-motivation, so they cannot given the any motivation to the subordinate and peer group and any employee. Okay, so they have to consider first one, there are the high self-monitoring. In that they have to be doing the work for their self monitoring activity. Then second one is a locus of control. In the last video lecture session, you know about this, what are the meaning of locus of control. Whenever in the organization there are the number of peoples are working, at that time manager have to doing this type of skills, that they have to be doing this type of control, so they can doing their work at the time and achieve their targets. Then level of morale. Then we can say if a moral level is higher, then and then they have to be achieve their targets. So moral value is very higher in the organization. Then fourth one is the organizational investments. Okay, so investment is very important. Without investment any organization cannot, we can say, working very effectively and efficiently. So that's why investment factor is very important. Then prescribed job alternatives. Sometimes we can say in the organization there are the various types of employees have the different types of skills and knowledge, so they can work in the different department at the, we can say, but they have to be a less opportunities, so that's why they have to provide the opportunity so they can doing their self development and personal development. Then expectation of the success. If a success level is higher, then they can achieve their goals and values, whatever the objective is assigned to them. Then expectation of success. After this, second dimension is the organization dimension. In this dimension, they have to be a, we can say, viewpoint regarding the organizational side. Then it's based on the interpersonal action, so they have to be considered the reference for the following aspects. First one, they have to be reliance, we can say, reliance of the resources. Whatever the resources, they have to be considered for the organization. We can say raw material, then after plant, machinery, they have to be use their very effectively. If they have to be not use their resources very effectively, then they cannot achieve, they can use the higher input and cannot get the maximum output from them. Okay, so there are the require of this, we can say, resources uses. Then after, second one is a promotion for the opportunity. If they have to provide the higher opportunity, then they can get the higher profit. So different, we can say, organization have to always find the different types of opportunity, so they can get the higher benefit from them. Then low trust. Trust is very important. Without trust, any organization cannot, we can say, working. So there are the trust of the, we can say, customer, employees. This all are important for the organization point of view. Without trust, any organization cannot stable in the market. So that's why organization always try to maintain their goodwill, their image in the market. If they have to be a use of faulty products in the market and launch a faulty product in the market, then they have to be try to remove these products from the market. Okay. Then after, unclear performance evaluation system. If there are the performance evaluation, means performance appraisal system is not appropriate, then they cannot measure the skillful employees and unskillful employees. Their level we cannot measure. So performance evaluation system is very important. Then democratic decision making. They cannot use the autocratic style. They have to always use the democratic and the participative decision making method, so they can easily take the suggestions from the lower level group and take the ideas. Okay, so also you know about this, there are the, we can not assume that in that there are the, in the level, we can say there are the three levels, right? So in this lower level we cannot assume and we cannot take any assumption that the lower level workers cannot have any type of skills, right? So one example is here that one means, can say, product are working in the market, there are the tea product, there are the Taj. Okay, so in this Taj company, they have to be a one type of we can say problem. They have to find that how to promote their product. So they have to doing some type of research, and the marketing we can say companies and marketing products have to doing the marketing managers and their we can say experts, they have to doing the research on that, but they cannot find any slogan, we can say there are the tagline, right? So then after they have to be doing this type of democratic decision making style, and they have to be take the suggestion from the lower level groups, and from the lower level one labor who are working at the lower level and gave the take that wa Taj. Okay, so this type of slogan it's found out from the lower level, so we cannot assume that lower level cannot have the skills. Okay, so always organization have to doing this type of we can say that democratic decision making, so they can get the easily promotion of the product and get the solution of their any problem. Okay, then after zero sum reward practice 6. Okay, sometime organization have to doing this type of activity that provide the reward on the basis of their activities. Then high performance assurance, if any employees is a skillful employee and they have to be a power and knowledge and skill, so you should provide them the assurance. If they have to doing the good performance, then you should provide them a high we can say rewards and awards. Then self-servicing to the seniors manager. Okay, sometime in the organization if a manager are working very good, and if they have to be a they have to retire, and then after the retirement if they are willing to doing the work in the organization, so you should doing this type of activity so you can get the expertise knowledge from that. Then what are the tactical behaviors in the organization? So the fundamental objective behind the political behavior in the organization dimension is to influence the behavior of the other person is the one's expectation. So generally people have to try this following behavior. First one is a reasoning. So the logical behavior is to back up by the formal information and the violation of such as the procedure that consequences is created. So you have to backup plan for this formal information. So sometimes a faulty information is create the disaster for the organization. So always try to get the formal information and the right information. Then friendliness environment, it's involve the creation of the goodwill and the similar way to be a winning the confidence for the other party. Then after coalitions means the getting a support from the other. Bargaining is the sharing the benefit to the we can say under the mutual understanding. Higher authority to manage the backup requests for them. Assertiveness means using a direct and the forceful approach to compliance. Then what are the role of manager into handling this political behavior? If there are the political behavior is considered in the organization, what are the role of the manager to remove or we can say reduce to decrease this type of behavior in the organization? So first one, well structured and the well defined job. First of all in the organization, new employees whatever come in the new employees and the we can say our alumni employees, so at that time you have to define their jobs. So such situation is keeps the employees busy in their job and leaves the little time for the politics, so they cannot have the such type of we can say time, so they cannot doing this type of activity, so they have to continue with their job. Second one is the effective communication. Without communication sometimes is a misunderstanding is created problem. So the political success is by the we can say efficiency, but the talking advantage we can say that ignorance of the other. So ignorance of the member of the organization is avoided by the timely and the sufficient information spreading. So always try to give the right information at the right time. Then third one is the effective evaluation and the reward system. The political behavior of the employee strives to be a less effort to get the more reward. Is a always there have to be a such type of mentality of the higher authority that always try that employees have to doing less effort and they have to always wish to be get the higher rewards. So such mentality can check by the proper evaluation system. You cannot get the reward we can say on the mandatory form. You have to analyze this, evaluate their performance, and then you have to given the reward to them. So it's created the less political behavior, and you have to doing the logical reward system. Then the last topic, that the management styles and attitudes. So the we can say approach that management always try to support and always try to we can say encourage the enthusiasm of the employees regarding the work, but suppress the discourage and the political behavior. So we can easily we can say reduce this type of behavior. So the political members success only with the good chance of a higher management. So such behavior should be encouraged, but should be checked probability, and then after you have to doing the appropriate attitude to the higher management. Then fifth one, member of the following political tacticals should be identified and should be penalized. If any person have to doing this type of behavior in the organization, then you have to find their behavior of the person and try to remove this behavior, and you have to penalize and you have to give them punishment and penalties to that. Then political behavior and resulting into the we can say that function should be treated as a seriously. So there are the various type of function is resulting to gain the reserve organization member at the cost of the organization. So such behavior should be identified, should be checked, and then after if you have to find this type of misbehavior in the organization, then you have to immediately doing this type of activities, so you can easily suppress this type of behavior. So competition among the member for the power, so it's create the political behavior. Then subjective evaluation by the subordinate for the superior, so it's created one type of we can say that political behavior. Then delayed feedback and to be a denial for the justice. Sometimes employees cannot get the proper justice at that time, they have to do in this type of political behavior. Then participation in the partially and the political behavior members to the decision making. Then promotions to strictly on the merit and not be any other considerations. So this all about the we can say that power and politics and political behavior. Okay, so if you have any query regarding this topic, then you can contact me. Okay, thank you very much.